Hello everyone. With this video I'd like to talk a little bit about how you can become more comfortable and expressive with your bow arm as a violist. Again, the viola is not the violin. It's also not the cello. It's some sort of amalgamation in between. That's the beauty of our chameleon-like nature, that we can make all different kinds of sounds. But again, if you were trained as a violinist in a certain way, I think there are certain issues that one has to approach, mostly in terms of leverage and flexibility. We need more power to really play a beautiful forte on the viola. So I have some of my students here. We have Taylor and Sergio, and I just want to show you again with a little bit of a demonstration of some of the different aspects and things to think about with the bow that can help you to get more comfortable. I think it's really important so that we have myriad possibilities for expression, that you're really aware of developing a very organized but flexible and creative bow arm, and that you're also really using your imagination, because we do have three basic ingredients with the bow for creating sound. We have contact point, speed, and weight or leverage. And again, that's perhaps the mixing of those three ingredients is really a unique experience on the viola, and it depends what you're trying to play, depends how big your instrument is, how big you are, as to what kind of experience it is for you. So there's no cookie cutter approach, but we're going to try to offer you a few ideas here today. So guys, why don't you come on over? And let's hold up our right hand so we can see. And again, as you'll see, each one of us has a different size of our hand, right? And then let's hold out our arms. And then we have three really different arm lengths. So you basically, I think your sound, of course, starts in your imagination and in your heart. You know, what you want to hear, what you're trying to play. And then the power for your sound, as with anything, sports, playing the viola, and playing the viola is actually an athletic endeavor. We really need these core muscles. Your sound, Karen Tuttle used to talk about it really coming from your wingspan in the back, from the middle of your back. You want to feel that. And you want to feel like you're embracing the instrument. But then, again, I think we should all play the cello because we'd have gravity. We could drop our weight and feel this here. We have to do it over here on the viola. So we have to figure out how. I like to come up with a system of pillows that we can use and sit on that's constantly adjusting for us. But I'd like to talk first maybe about, let's just start with the hand and how you actually contact the bow. An exercise I like to have people do when they start, a few different things just to get in touch with how your hand works. Not to advocate violence, but I think starting with the fist and really feeling that center in your hand, and then just gently opening that out, and you feel your middle finger and your thumb saying hello to each other, right? And that you have good contact. Again, here's the middle of your hand. Your fist helps to reinforce that. You open it. I like to think of that if you put a quarter or however much it costs now in the little machine at the diner to get an animal, it comes down and you pick it up. And that's what you want to kind of feel to start how you're approaching what you're going to hold with the bow. And now, when you look at the bow, I'll come a little closer to the camera, we've got what I call the thumb rack. And so we've established, just by exploring where the middle is in your hand and what the thumb covers, if the thumb's going to hang out here on the thumb rack, then that means the middle finger, which was feeling the center of your hand, I think you just want to practice. Here's your stick, and let's have a little bit of a perpendicular approach from your middle finger and really feel good finger pad squishy vibrato. You want to make sure that you're not stuck in this joint, but you're feeling the pad and it has good contact, like a sea anemone on a rock. You want to feel that flowing. And then, depending on how wide you are, what kind of spread you have in your hand, if that's your orientation for what to touch, you come down here, and then where does your ring finger want to go? And you want to feel, again, good vibrato pads on the ring finger. You feel an up bow pull, you feel a down bow pull. You can massage the frog in and out, right? And then you can just drop your pinky down and your index finger and add your thumb. And then if you were to take the bow away, you would be feeling that, right? Okay, so then you just gently drop and mold. And you want to feel, you can pull back towards yourself with your pads. Feel what each finger does. Each one has its own contact. And then you bring your thumb in. So you want to make sure you're not squeezing with your thumb, just like on the left hand we talked about. You want to feel, I like to feel like I have a water balloon or an avocado, something ripe and squishy here, where if I squeeze too hard, it's not going to have a nice result, but I feel like a nice support there. So you really want equal sensation and flexibility and activity in your fingers, but depending on, I like to think of your fingers as really active shock absorbers. And this is going to be a really, really fancy car, maybe a fancy car with German engineering. So they really make sure you don't feel the bumps, but they cushion that for you. And your thumb is nice and loose. You want to make sure that you don't squeeze with your thumb. So I'm going to do a little cello demonstration because I think, again, one of the biggest differences between violin and viola is that you know how to navigate your weight beautifully together with the speed and the contact point for creating sound. Where you just, you know, if you're playing the C string on a cello, you drop it down, you pull. And you feel nice sense of weight. And you'll probably notice as you pull a down bow, your ulna and your ring finger and your pinky are catching more of that pull. Whereas I think some of us have an immediate empty the glass out feeling in the bow. But you don't see a cellist at the C string doing this because you'll hit the bouts. And you have to remember that when you get the viola over here, if we want that weight in, we want to feel like a cellist pulling out of the C string. So we really want to pull towards the alt. You want to feel weight, and then you want to feel pull here. Okay? So there are lots of things to explore. Let's put the bows in the other hand for a minute, and we'll show you guys just a few things you can do to warm up your bow fingers. So you'll get your diner claw going on, and you'll pick up your object, and you'll start with your basic round. Okay, and then you're going to open your fingers, and then you're going to round them again. And they're all going to move together. Each of your 5 fingers, including your thumb, they're going to move as a family, and now they're going to start to talk really quickly. So think of your fingers are your shock absorbers for your fancy German car, and they're your lips. It's how you start and finish your words, and you enunciate. So this is kind of the cell of your Collet stroke. We could just spend hours talking about the bow arm, but I'm just going to warm you up and get you flexible, and then you can talk with your teachers about how you might explore your Collet strokes and the like. Okay, so you want to cultivate knowledge, awareness of flexibility and balance and freedom in your hand. And now let's travel up a little bit to the forearm. And again, it'd be so nice to play the cello, park it down, and pull, right? But now we're over here, okay? So we got our contact point is right here. The contact point is always truth. Sort of like playing in tune is truth, intonation is truth, contact point is truth. Everything we do is in the service of the contact point. Our whole posture, our body, we are here to serve the contact point, okay? So another exercise I have people do to feel, again, both of the bones of the forearm is just kind of hang on the viola. You guys want to get your viola so we can hang on the viola? Okay. And we want to create a system, an invisible sort of support system, because again, we need gravity, yet our contact point that we're serving is over here. So we have to have gravity with our bow arm, but it's over here. This would make more sense, but it's not what we've got, okay? So let's just hang the forearm here, give the viola a hug, and really feel forearm connection. And now we're gonna aim for a contact point on the C string. So you're gonna inflate a balloon under your armpit that supports you, and you're gonna move out here, and you're gonna hang here for a minute. And now we're really going to get to know how to play the frog, if you can feel this way. Now let's get our bows. And let's feel C string frog for a minute. And really feel that if I was really connected here and I open out, there's like an invisible table that we want to sit on. Okay? And you really feel that contact point. Okay, and then if you want to pull down the bow, let's say 2 inches, take a minute. There's your new contact point. And you're going to feel that right here. And you're going to serve it. You're going to feel... I'm going to sit here and I'm going to pull. And if I'm playing a down bow, I want to really pull from this side of the string here, and I want to work with the curve of the string. So my bow is going to be parallel. So I will always have the things that you know in life about playing in tune and having a straight bow. I do not in any way want to interfere with that basic truth of life and how the viola works. But knowing that everything else that you do related to sound is to curve, to really work with the curves and create curves in your sound. So you'll pull, you'll come out here, and you'll notice, okay, if I'm serving my contact point, and I want all of this to participate, maybe I want to see what would happen if I pull out here, right, if I'm pulling a down bow. And then I'm going to feel an up bow, I'm going to feel a down bow. Again, because if I were playing the cello when I were here, down bow, up bow. And so we want to make sure that we have that access over here. And now you want to show them your tip. Okay, so when we get to the tip of the bow, there's a natural pronation towards the radius bone here. And now go back to the frog. And now we feel we're going to pull in the direction of the down bow, so the ulna becomes more important. Back to the tip. Okay, and really feel that. So you're going to feel more of the weight leaning in here. And as we said, it all actually comes from your back into the string and back to the frog. Okay, you're really going to feel that. So your fingers are always conversing with the string. You're going to talk. They're going to have a different shape. But basically, when you're pulling a down bow, let's say for the bottom half of the bow, you want to pull towards your ulna. You want your fingers to feel good shock absorption over their avocado or water balloon. You don't want to squish them. You don't want to squeeze them down. You want to ride. And again, I like to think of a little table that I'm sitting on with my arm. We talked about the hand, the forearm, and now the upper arm is where, again, if you look at, I wish I had a tape measure, how long this upper arm is versus this upper arm, navigating that upper arm weight is a really different experience for you guys and for me. I like to think of, I inflate, like when, if heaven forbid you should break your leg, you know those beds that you can adjust and you can bring it up to the height you need. So you want to be able to hang on it, but then you want to move with the hanging. So your contact point, your point of truth, is going to expand. So it's either a table with some cushions or it's a hospital bed that adjusts. I want to hang. For me to play at the tip, I almost have to raise my upper arm a little bit to, again, I want to pull from this side of the string and I want to work with those curves, and I pull and I pull. In order to keep pulling, there's a point of where the forearm is going to pronate depending on the sound I'm making, and then I have to extend to get my arm weight in, almost like I feel it from my back and I pull out. Sergio's at the tip and he's still feeling the way I do in the middle of the bow, I think. Right, because he can feel this weight traveling through into that point. So you start in the middle of your back. So you feel, we lost our skeleton for this video, but you have your scapula and you want to feel nice strong core. You want to feel the bottom of your shoulder blade, explore how all that moves. You want your power. It comes through, it travels, right into that sounding point. Taylor, you want to try it and see what that feels like for you? Yeah. Okay, so again, feel your nice core muscles, know where your scapula is, the bottom of it. I like to feel like a nice magnet down there that feels centered and out, but it's very movable. And then I pull through here. So my underarm system has constant support here, pulling through. And then you probably need to levitate here a little bit too to get. So he wants to feel this weight, and this. So all three of these points constantly connected to the sounding point, and that goes in, right? And you want to raise your shoulder and hit your ear for a minute, which is a really bad habit. You really want to avoid lifting this up because it feels bad, but it also actually takes the weight out of the string. So you're in a traffic jam of up and down at the same time. So you want to keep that shoulder nice and settled in there, the joint. Okay? That is a really quick conversation about the bow, but again, you'll feel an up bow starting from this side, a down bow starting from this side. Your entire underarm system and your core and your back live to serve the contact point, and you want to sculpt the sound out. You want to dig it out on the up bow, pull it out on the down bow, that you really feel that. Your fingers work to absorb the shock. If I were to write a prescription for staying in shape with your bow arm, you want to practice all of your bow strokes every day. You want to practice your colle, your staccato. What I just demonstrated to you I call the squeegee bow, which is, if you live in New York, you'll know what a squeegee guy is. You get stuck at the end of the Henry Hudson Parkway at 55th Street and you're trying to make that left turn and there's a lot of traffic. And these guys come out with these little things and they start to clean your windshield, but of course the light changes before they do, but you're feeling all of that water squishing. And you want to be feeling that here. So you're always working with those curves, feeling that distance. This is kind of this is a huge dance floor where you're going to use the whole floor, the whole room for your sound, both here and also with all the different possibilities of weight and color and speed. So you want to really develop a clear, flexible bow arm. So that's why, again, you want to keep all of the basic strokes in shape of colle and staccato and squeegee. détaché, all the different kinds of spiccato from your Wagnerian lower baseball bat approach in the bottom to your more Mendelssohnian, what I call in the stick, which you'll use for Mendelssohn Scherzo and for Schumann Märchenbilder, third movement, that kind of stroke. And I think Schumann's actually a great place to practice different bow strokes. That's an aside. But you can feel for the second movement, your colles, you'll really feel really good clarity, your Ds, Ts, and Ks. And then you want to practice for different contact points and speeds. So keep yourself in shape. The possibilities are endless. Is there anything you guys want to add to this open Pandora's box of bow possibilities and then leave everybody hanging?
Maybe you could show us closer to the camera, what you said about the down bow starting this way.
Okay. Okay, this is again really
exaggerated.
exaggerated.
It's very nuanced, so I think having a close-up would help.
So our job in our service of the contact point is to work with the spin of the string. So another analogy that I like to use is it's like when you're playing jump rope, and you know that fancy double Dutch jump rope where maybe you've got two going and you have to not get your feet tangled, but if you jump you can go higher and higher and they can go faster and faster and you never trip. And so you want to take the string for a spin with every sound that you make. So for a down bow, I'm going to engage the string and I'm going to feel this banana, an entry smiley or a banana that comes in from this side, and then there's resonance, and I'm going to be constantly working with the spin. At the same time that I'm feeling that magnetism in and out of the bridge, and I'm sculpting into the bridge depending what kind of intensity I want, and out. So I've got this circle and this circle, always in conversation with each other. So what Sergio was asking about is I'm going to basically feel I slice the string from here, and I want to make sure that I'm really maximizing the resonance for every sound that I make. And then when I start an up bow, my banana's going to start from this, my smile's going to start from this side, and I'm going to, and I want to keep the string spinning. And my squeegee is recommitting to that curve all the time, both, again, from left to right, right to left, and also pulling in and out. So I feel, so it's really important, again, to practice those things. And my wonderful students know how much I love scales. I think they're a fantastic forum for multitasking. You can practice all of your bow strokes. You can be working on your intonation, your geography, your shifting, all these things. You can use them as a forum, and you can work on really taking that camera lens and focusing in on individual events and then taking a step back and synthesizing. So again, I think it's really helpful to just really figure out what the different parts of the hand, wrist, forearm, upper arm, shoulder, back, what all of that does to serve the contact point comfortably. You want to know what each part needs to do, and then you want to synthesize it and have it be in conversation and have all of those parts available to your imagination and your relationship to the string. So it's a glorious experimentation, but it's also, we are the athletes of the small muscles. So I think to synthesize this discussion of these videos that we've done on just some healthy approaches to playing, you want to keep yourself in shape, both in the macro and in the micro of all the different, our hands are very complicated, but they are supported by a full system of your body and your balance. So your entire body is your instrument. You're hearing, yes, with your ears and your inner ear and your imagination, but with your whole body in connection to the instrument. All right. Thanks, everybody.